How's it hanging, dudes? My name is Sean and welcome back to another Jurassic World Evolution video. In today's video is going to be all about dinosaur skins, what they will look like, what we can expect, what's to come, will there be any DLC, mods, you know, the whole works. Hey, you guys asked for it, so now you're going to get it. We're going to dive real deep into it. Before you do that, go ahead and smack a like, go ahead and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. You know, I mean, I do appreciate it. I appreciate it more than you guys know. Well, I mean, some of you guys know, but you know, all the new people, hey guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. So anyway, dinosaur skins. We already know that each dinosaur can vary. They will look a little bit different. Whenever you're collecting the genes for a particular dinosaur, you have to fill in the gaps with other genes from other animals to complete the embryo and, you know, make your dinosaur from hatchling all the way to adult. Now, a lot of times if the genes are more or less replaced with a whole bunch of different animals, well, the dinosaur might not exactly look like the dinosaur, you know, that would have been historically accurate. They might look a little bit different. Like, for example, if you take frog genes and you put it into your Stegosaurus, you know, he might come out a lot more green than brown, right? You know, it's a very basic way example to give. It goes a little bit deeper than that, but it's kind of like what we're looking at here. So now when you think of skins, a lot of people immediately think of something like Fortnite, where, you know, you get just change an outfit and you can just overlay a skin onto a dinosaur. I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think that the dinosaurs are actually going to be, you're actually going to have hands-on with these dinosaurs, and as you make them, you'll be able to tweak them a little bit and maybe have a little bit different skin. And what if you had an alpha, right? Let's say you had your blue of the Velociraptors and you had Delta and Echo and all the other ones, and let's say you wanted to have your alpha. Well, let's say you wanted to make his skin look a little bit different, and with the dinosaurs being able to fight and retain their scars, that kind of is all the more important to be able to tell your favorite dinosaur apart from all the rest of the herd, right? And you also have to realize that the hands-on aspect of these skins isn't really even the biggest part of this whole thing. You gotta think that, you know, when you talk about skins, like, these dinosaurs, they're not like Fortnite skins or PUBG skins, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how else to really say that. And they're really not going to be like JPOG skins, where a lot of these dinosaurs are really out there and they really don't look right. I mean, we might see things like a Triceratops having its horn broken off, and it might take a number of years for that horn to grow back, right? Once you unlock certain genes, you might be able to have the option to make a certain dinosaur, tweak it and make it look a certain way, right? Let's say your park guests get, you know, tired of seeing the same old Apatosauruses every single time. Well, now this Apatosaurus might be a slightly different color, and that might, you know, raise the popularity of that specific paddock or enclosure up just a couple percentage points, which helps with your profit, right? And there's a bunch of other things that might go into this as well. So we already know they're going to retain the scars. That's kind of like making its own skin by itself. Like, the dinosaurs will grow into their own skin, I guess would be a good way to say it. And you know, there hasn't really been a whole lot of talk about feathers in evolution. So, and you know, a lot of the broader public really hasn't been brought into the fold, you know, as far as feathers go. So, you know, maybe you might see a young Tyrannosaurus Rex, you know, an adolescent, and it might still have a few feathers, a little bit of plumage, you know, but as it grows older, it sheds those feathers and it won't have any. Now, I know a lot of people have said that there probably won't be feathers in evolution, but, you know, plenty of dinosaurs we know now had feathers historically, and I know that Jurassic World is more hybrids and stuff like that, and it's not 100% historically accurate, but like, again, it would bring, you know, feathered dinosaurs into the broader public, put it in their mind, and get them kind of used to it, right? And on top of that, people who's never seen a feathered dinosaur before, it's going to blow their mind. They're going to be crazy. They're not even going to know what to think about it. You know, we might see the frills of Triceratops be worn down and scars and patches all the way through it. You know, on a Suchomimus, you might see scratches and claw marks all up and down its long neck, stuff like that. I kind of want to talk about the goats for just 1 second, because you gotta think, like, there might be different skins for goats, and what I mean by that is there might be other small animals to feed the dinosaurs. You gotta think, if dinosaurs were a real thing and they were in their own little enclosure, Well, especially a carnivore, carnivores would really get tired of eating a tiny little goat over and over and over again. That's not really much of a hunt. They like to hunt, they like to stalk their prey, or at the very least they might be a dinosaur that just doesn't really that just gets fed up eating the same thing over and over again. Then they get antsy and then they want to break down the fences and, go eat the Stegosaurus. Why wouldn't they? They're not used to eating goats. There wasn't goats around in the Jurassic era or the Mesozoic era, any era around way back then. So the thing that them eating goats, I know it's iconic for them to eat goats in the movies, and we've seen that a lot, so that's the reason why they're in the game. But there could be different animals, or at the very least different kinds of goats, different kinds of small animals like that, farm animals, because dinosaurs would get tired of eating the same old thing, you would imagine, and that would make them restless and antsy and stuff like that. Like, what happens if you're feeding goats and you're feeding them goats and you're feeding goats, and one year they just stop eating goats and they don't want to eat goats anymore, and they start wreaking havoc on your fences and stuff like that. So when you talk about skins, there's a lot to talk about. There's so much to talk about. I mean, even DLCs, right? So we might see some DLC for skins. We might see DLC for an Indoraptor or Indominus Rex skin. We might be able to tweak it a little bit, make our own Indominus Rex later on in the game, of course. You might be able to unlock different genes as you go, which we already know is a thing. But these genes might specifically have to do with DLC and then overlay into actual genes that you might not see in game. Like, for example, there might be DLC for let's say that the game runs for a while and they find out that, well, Stegosauruses, they really don't do much damage. They really don't do much damage at all, and a lot of times if a Rex breaks the fence and eats a Stegosaurus, well, a lot of times they just go down and they don't have no chance whatsoever. We know that the dinosaur has health meters, attack meters, defense meters, stuff like that. And that helps you better gauge the fight between dinosaurs and how much health they're losing and how much power they have. Well, maybe some of these things really haven't been worked out in the kinks, and maybe there might be some DLC where you might see the Stegosaurus's tail having extra spikes. You might be able to start engineering Stegosauruses that are really deadly, right? So and these are just little bitty things, just little things that are popping into my head. And I might even have to take that back. The Indominus Rex, it might not even have potential skins, because you gotta think about it. I mean, it does camouflage. So why would they allow you to have different skins when that thing would just blend in with anything anyway, no matter what kind of skin you give it? But it is kind of cool to think that maybe you can get a Carnosaurus, or however you want to say it, that might have almost like tiger stripes down its side. How cool would that be? If you want to go with the realistic dinosaurs, I'm sure that when you complete each gene, all the genes from each dinosaur, they'll look exactly like the dinosaurs, and almost historically accurate, right? But what happens if you don't really care and you kind of want to just place genes wherever you can? I know the game has some kind of limits on that, like the hybrids that are already made are in game and you'll have to unlock them. But everything is technically a hybrid, because you're adding genes as you go. You're unlocking a gene tree, and the more genes you have, the more dinosaurs you're able to bioengineer, right? So who's to say that you can't start making yellow dinosaurs? I know we're getting really out there, and mainly skins is like what I was talking about, like broken horns and scars and dinosaurs just looking different shades from one another. But what happens when that happens? Even if they don't include that in DLC, they've said that they may allow mods. It's something that they're interested in and thinking about, but they haven't confirmed anything. Well, imagine when mods come out, you're going to see rainbow dinosaurs. It's going to happen. You're going to see Barney the purple dinosaur. You're going to see that kind of stuff, I promise you. There's going to be some wild and crazy out there type of skins. And then that's where we're actually getting into the Fortnite and PUBG type of skins, right? Because those are actual skins. You just, oh wait, here's DLC for a gene. Well, let me just go ahead and get this gene, and now you've got this gene and all your dinosaurs look orange. So hey, who knows? It could happen, right? It really could. Maybe neon green dinosaurs. Maybe they're glowing in the dark, right? I mean, because you gotta think, if you can add cuttlefish genes and frog genes to an Indominus Rex to give it the lowering its body temperature or making it non-existent, changing its body temperature, or being camouflage, why couldn't you put the genes from, you know, X, Y, or Z animal to make it whatever? I mean, I know we're getting out there with some of these ideas, but let's go even further. What if you can change the color of their eyes? What if you can go that in depth? I mean, they've already put the detail into just the way the dinosaurs walk up and down terrain, like that kind of detail. So why wouldn't you be able to do that? Dig sites could possibly hold clues to, you know, which kind of genes and which kind of skins and which kind of colors and stuff like that we might be able to see. Now, one thing that I've been kind of like tossing around in my head while I've been making this video is, if you remember, you know, in Jurassic World, the Apatosaurus, they had like elephant skin, you know, which a lot of hardcore dinophiles was not very happy with that. You know, it should have scales, it should. So what happens if, what is the possibility of us seeing something like that in the game, where you might be able to, like, okay, well, we don't have an Apatosaurus, right? Well, we have an Apatosaurus. We have 35% of the genome for an Apatosaurus, but we don't quite have the genes to make its skin 100% scales, right? So you have elephant gene that you've unlocked, and you throw that in there, and well, that makes it look like that. Doesn't necessarily have scales, but you know, hey, it's an elephant skin, right? A literal skin. What if that kind of stuff happens? You know, later on down the line, if they start releasing different eras, you know, different Paleo eras, Mesozoic eras, and stuff like that, we could potentially see mammals. We can potentially see large marsupials. There's a whole host of different, you know, animals and lemurs with fur and stuff like that that we could possibly have in the game at a later date. And then, you know, sky's the limit. I mean, if you have fur in the game, like, there's no telling what kind of skins, what kind of colors, designs could come out with that kind of stuff. You know, I could see somebody trying to make like a zebra pattern on a certain dinosaur, like really trying to go all out there, especially YouTubers. You know, they're going to be trying to get the most clickbaity titles and thumbnails and stuff like that. So you're going to see, you know, stuff, if they allow for skins like this, you're going to see a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be like, you know, oh no, my Velociraptor is tiger mixed with Velociraptor, question mark, and, you know, and I'll have like a Velociraptor with all kinds of black stripes down it, stuff like that. You know, and there's no telling that, like, those skins are really far out there. And I know that, you know, Frontier really went out of their way to make this game as close to canon as possible with the most realistic uses of skins possible, especially with the dinosaurs keeping their scars and stuff like that. That's a lot more reasonable stuff like that we're going to see. A lot of this crazy stuff that we've been talking about is probably going to be later on in the future. Even if we don't get in DLCs, we might get it with mods, we don't know, or we might not get that kind of stuff at all, you know, the purple dinosaurs and stuff like that. We don't know, we really don't know. But it would be really cool if you can get like a skin or something like that that would be like Spyro the Dragon, you know what I mean? And you can overlay Spyro onto a dinosaur of some sort, you know. Who's to say that, you know, when we get mods and stuff like that, you won't see a whole bunch of that kind of stuff. Like, that would be really cool if you can get like some Turok skins, some of the dinosaurs that were in there. We already know that Blue, the reason why she's blue is because she has a blue tint to her skin, right? That's pretty evident. It's not the only reason why she's called Blue, but that's one of the main reasons. The other ones kind of look similar to each other, but who's to say that you can't do that? I know we're saying who's to say a lot, but this is all speculation, right? So maybe you want your Velociraptor to look different. Maybe you want each dinosaur, whether it be Stegosaurus, whether it be a Struthiomimus, whether it be a T-Rex, whether it be Velociraptor, whatever. Maybe you want to have the alpha of each group. Maybe you want to have the leader of each pack, and you want to make them look completely different than all the other ones. Maybe you want to go all the way through and you want to make each individual dinosaur 100% unique, you know. So why wouldn't you? Unless you just want to play the game, of course, then you just play the game. But skins are a really good way to kind of, I guess, add a little bit of playability to the game, add a little bit of stuff to look forward to. It really spices things up, you know, after you make, you know, 40 Struthiomimuses, or, you know, 20 Stegosauruses, and they all look the same. You're going to want to switch it up a little bit. It adds just another level of detail that, you know, Frontier just keeps blowing our minds away with. So anyways, guys, that's all I got for you today. You know, skins, right? We can do a part 2 of skins if you guys want. I want to see you guys in the comment section below. Let me know what kind of skins you want to see. Like I talked about the spiral thing. Like, what do you think is going to happen in this game later on in the day? If we get mods, we get DLCs. Like, what are some of the most extreme things that you could possibly think of? I want to see those in the comment section. You guys know I'm always in the comment section after every single video. I love you guys. You guys keep it up. I appreciate you like always, and I'll see you next time.